Well, as far as VAT is concerned, there has been a review of the entire taxation policy. Because when we got into government, things were not as we expected. We had to find about $10 billion to bail out Gaisuko alone. It is a major problem.
President David Granger. In May, Finance Minister Winston Jordon had announced that a team of experts from the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, was expected in Guyana shortly to examine ways of reducing the 16% value-added tax VAT ahead of changes that might be announced in next year's national budget. Jordon virtually ruled out VAT reduction during this year because of the need for public consultation about changes to the tax structure. President Granger said,
there are other areas that we need to provide funds for, particularly in education. But we have not been able to reduce VAT simply because the money is not there. And we have to be spending money on bailout, and we still have to, we're now in discussion with the public service. So it is not as easy as it looked. And perhaps it might have been imprudent to give ourselves a commitment at that point in time. But I would say that philosophically, it is something that we could achieve.
As it pertains to the creation of jobs and the slowness of the coalition government in fulfilling their promises, President Granger said there were too many unqualified school leavers who contributed to the problem. Mr. Granger explained.
We've discovered that there are about 4,000 children dropping out of our schools every year. Many of those people are, as they stand, unemployable, simply because they have not completed their primary or secondary education. Nobody wants to employ them. So it's not a matter of the government giving them jobs. We have to ensure that we get people back in school and they trust in getting children to school.
President Granger also stated that many of the jobs would have to come from self-employment.
That is to encourage young people to become entrepreneurs, to acquire equipment, to go into agro-processing, and to create jobs within their communities. There's no prospect or there's no possibility that the government could simply start to employ young people. We have done this in the hinterland. There's a hinterland youth employment program. And there are other local programs like at the Kurukuru College, but we will not be able to provide jobs by the 1,000 people. 4,000 people are dropping out of the schools every year. We cannot promise to employ every one of them. We have to get them back in schools.
School dropout rates in the Caribbean, according to a 2015 report by the IDB, were up to 20% higher than the average in Latin America and the Caribbean. Also, alcohol and drug abuse, early and or unprotected sex, low academic performance, school desertion, crime, delinquency, and violence were all examples of risky behavior, which may also result in school dropout. Qualification is also a necessity for performance. President Granger would always ask the question, would anyone want to be in a commercial plane with an unqualified pilot? Rihanna? That's the question.